Rocky, what are you whining about? Oh my god, there's miniatures everywhere. Like, seriously, miniatures everywhere. I need some space. And I need to dust this damn desk. Oh, Lord have mercy. What are you doing under there, Rock? You're looking for those barking dogs, aren't you? Coming from the music. And the screaming goblins. What is it, baby? Yeah, I have been offline for a good 2 weeks. I have been printing and painting miniatures like by the ton. So that's why you haven't seen me online. And it seems like I have an audio echo tonight, so I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Now is not the time for dogs to act crazy. Let me see if I can get over here in the chat. Okay, I need a really, really fine point brush. Okay, so the echo is just in my head then on this end. Oh, I need some new brushes. Rocky, oh my God. Rocky is under my desk because, you know, I have a sound bar for sound. And so he's hearing the dogs on this Goblin soundtrack from Sirenscape. And so every time he hears the dogs, he whines. But he has decided to park his butt directly in front of me and under my desk. So I can't really get my legs under my desk because there's a dog in the way. Good God. It's going to be one of those streams. Yes. All right. Time is up on the timer. Let's get this and kick just a fraction of the minis that have been printed and painted laid out on my desk. I'm going to do some fine detail work tonight on a lot of these because that's really all that they're lacking, so that I can get them off my desk and put them in the done box. Let me share with y'all the done box right now. The done box consists mostly of wall pieces. So, but as you can see, by the looks of everything on my desk, we've got buildings galore and some stuff you probably can't even see on camera yet, but I'll move things around. You know, we've got the Goblin huts, which is a little teepee-like structure. And I have 3 different Goblin camps indicated by 3 different banner colors. We have a purple banner, we have a red banner, and we have a blue banner. So we have 3 different colored Goblin tribes. I've got totems for each color tribe here in the middle. 3 totems for each, a red, a blue, and a purple. And then my watchtowers, I'm going to lift one of these up to show y'all. This happens to be a Red Clan watchtower. This is 3D printed as three segments and then glued together. It just needs a little touch-up paint tonight. A lot of this just needs touch-up so that we can get it done. And so that's what I want to work on tonight. And then I've also got a whole batch of elementals that I printed for a D&D game that I am playing in. We're going to paint some of those tonight. And then I have a special surprise set of miniatures that we're going to paint tonight. And I will save them to the very last. But we will get to them tonight because trust me, I am gung-ho about it. Alright, so I have some rings on these totems that basically are the metal rings holding the banners in place. And these are very tiny rings. And I am very six-year-old painting skills, so we are going to attempt to paint these without making a mess or butchering the quality. So let me get in here with this brush, get that silver in there. Get that one touched. I do want to come back and put eyes on the I'm assuming that's a cow skull or a bull skull, as it were. So we will come back and touch that. But first, let's get in here. And get this touched. Yep, I see we're missing some paint off the top of the head of one of these skulls, so that's going to have to be addressed. What are you doing, Rocky? You coming out from under the table? You actually going to give your daddy some leg room? Let me scoot in a little bit. Okay, we've got some touch-up to do on here in both the bone color and in the brown color, so we're going to come back to that after we've done these rings. Okay. This one's rings are already done. This one's rings are not. So, what is it, baby? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. I've been crazy busy at work, and of course I've been concentrating all my effort on getting all of this stuff 3D printed, and then primed, and then painting. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of that, and since it wasn't garnering a whole lot of attention on stream, I just decided not to stream it. For 2 reasons. One, it wasn't garnishing a lot of attention, and I also needed more space, so instead of doing the painting here in my limited desk space, I was doing it on the back deck on our picnic table. which our poor picnic table will never be the same. I'm going to have to sand off the paint spatter that's on it from me using it as a painting platform, even with a set of mats down to try to limit the amount of contamination of the paint on the picnic table. So, anyways, you know what? I'm going to go with silver across that. We're going to make that festive looking. Although I need more paint on the brush if I want to be able to touch that. What is it, girl dog? My girl dog's getting excitable behind me. Mainly because she's not getting any attention right now. Okay, let's take a look at this. We're going to go with that silver detail. I actually need more light over here where I am at, and this just is not conducive to doing this. Okay, so I feel comfortable with the silver rings there. I've also got silver rings to do on the banners on the teepees, the Goblin teepees. So we're going to get in here and do a little detail work on this. Kind of touch that up. Drop that one over there. My purple goblin tribe. Yeah, I'm sorry, it looks like it's devolving into an episode of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with all these colors running around. That's okay. I know there are still some Power Ranger fans out there. Myself included, even though I was, in my 30s when that came out, and my kids were watching it. Okay, y'all forgive me, I've got a Husky hair on the brush I need to get off. So, yeah, just going to put a little bit of touch on each of these. And I'll have to go back and probably trim the detail out a little bit later. It is what it is when you have my mad painting skills. So in addition to the goblin huts, which I have, 8 of, we also have a shaman's tent, which is more like a, huge facility. We have a barracks, and then we have the 2 guard towers. Now I've painted, or I've primed, I should say, because I've printed 2 more guard towers. So we're going to have a total of 4 guard towers for this build. And then the X amount of goblin huts and the shaman's tent. And then we have beast cages. We have the beast cage, which is setting to the side. So you're going to get to see quite a bit of this tonight as I drag this over here to do a little touch-up work on it. Okay. Oh, you hear the goblins chanting in the goblin song? That's hysterical. don't speak Goblin, so I don't get it. Ha ha. Okay, so there's 2 huts there. I've got 4 more to touch on. Let's get these rings on here. What are these goblins screaming about? Or is that their version of singing? Okay. Let's pop him over there. Got little detail touch-ups to do on all of these fellas. Mostly with the ivory color. Okay. Let's get back in here to these last 2. So I used 2 different methods to prime, or 2 different types of primer to prime these. And the quality of the primer has really affected my finished product. I used a gesso spray initially. The problem is it creates kind of a textured surface. And so the quality is not there. And I'm also using a lot more paint to paint those said surfaces that are gessoed. I opted to use some Kills as a primer for remaining prints, and it has went so much better. It doesn't leave that funky texture, and so prime quality has been much better on those. Like this one was Kilts primed, and it looks much better than the ones that have the rough touch surface from the gesso. Let me move that off of here. That's a piece of another model. And then let's get this one. Now this one is a Kilt surface prime. One of my buddies is texting me. I'm gonna have to text him back here real quick, let him know I am streaming. Okay. Okay, so that does the metal rings on the banners. I now have these fence pieces. Let me find my phone, fire off a message. Okay, y'all. So I want to do the banners on these because there are metal rings here. And I mangled the paint on that one. But that's what redetailing is for, right? Okay. And then this one is another one of those that was gessoed. I'm seriously considering reprinting all of these items that were gesso primed and trashing these originals. I hate to, because that's an awful lot of resin wasted, but it's just, to me, the quality is not there, and I'm picky about that. Probably not as picky as some, but definitely pickier than others. So that's a real possibility of that happening. Yeah, and I'm fat fingering paint and primer every which way. Okay, so those are touched up. Other things that need to be touched up, but in silver, I need to look at. The Beast Cage has a set of banners on it, so let me pull it over here. This is the Beast Cage, and those two white poles at the front are where the gates hang from, so I've printed the gates as well. And I'm sorry y'all can't see this, but it's kind of hard to stabilize. And then I've got some touch up to do on this as well, around those rings that those banners are hanging from. Put that over there. Hey girl dog, what you doing? Here comes Carmen up behind us. Yeah. Are you gonna get head scratches and show off your pretty tail on stream? Yeah, you wanna show off your pretty tail? You wanna show off your pretty tail? Oh, I'm gonna get that tail. I'm gonna get that tail. She's just a wagging that tail. Okay. Let's go back and do some quick and dirty touch up with some black paint and some brown paint on different details. I need a paint pan. Let's close out. No, we are not ready to close out the silver because I see some stuff I missed. Okay. Okay, so that got touched up. What did I do here? Was I asleep? Okay, move this paint pan because I am bumping and jostling it with my hand, my wrist. Okay. Okay, those rings are on. catch the sides of this one good. Little touch up there. Okay, I feel better about that one. Let's touch the sides of these rings on this one. Try to get those filled in good. Oh, here comes the big dog, Samuel. Hi, buddy. What you doing? What you doing? Are you gonna sit down in here and hang out with me? Oh, you're trying to show off where everybody can see you, but you're too close. Yeah, you're too close. What are you doing, Bubba? What? Samuel. Sam is my oldest and my first adopted husky, so to say he has a special place in his daddy's heart is an understatement. Okay, I think that's it for silver. Let's get to the black and brown. Let me clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now the paint pan that was causing me chaos a minute ago is going to have to come back into play. And this acrylic is super thick. And I need coal black. Okay, let's go through the coal black first because that needs to go on some of the structures of the huts. And a couple little pieces of floor that needed to be touched. Okay, so yeah, you see there's some overpaint on there. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm due for some new brushes. So a trip to Hobby Lobby will be on order at some point. That one's fine in terms of the black, but there is some beige that needs to be touched on. That's good. Let me move those 3 barrels over there. Those should have been moved to the other table. There's some black missing here that needs to be touched. Okay. And having that microphone right there just puts it dead smack in my way, y'all. So y'all gonna listen to me fuss as I'm bumping into it and everything else. Okay, I don't think I need the black anymore. We can always clean the brush and use it again later. Let's get into some of the brown touch-up, which is a lot of pieces. Let me look at these totems. think these totems, for the most part, are good. That needs some purple touch-up. It doesn't need any brown. Yeah, some purple needs to go on there for some bare spots. And there are some overpaint in various places here that needs to be touched up. Okay, that's good. Yeah, just some overpaint. Okay, let's take a look at the red. No overpaint of the red, requiring touch up with the brown. Two out of three so far. Now that one might need some touch up of the red because of some debacles. Oh, and I just got paint all on my hand. Okay. Last of these. That looks good. And once again, I touched something I shouldn't have. That was wet. Okay. We need to touch up some of the bone structure on that one. And the dark brown on there looks good. Okay. These fence pieces, let's take a look at them and see where they need to be tweaked. I think this one, other than the light golden brown needing some touch up, I've got some white marks on the back that just need a little brush in. A little bit of brush in. Some touch up in here, get these good. Okay. I see a little white. And if it was a gesso prime, you could very much see a lot of white on some of this stuff. Because the way that gesso kind of flakes after the fact, as it dries and sets. So. Okay, let's get over here to the guard towers and the trees. The trees are the same color, this dark color, so we're going to touch them up first. Singing goblins are terrifying, y'all. Because that means they're happy about something, which is bad news for somebody else, right? Oops. Okay, who's coming back in here now? Okay. So our dead looking trees have got a little touch up. Let's take a look at the barracks. Before we go to the towers. Oh, you know what? There's silver rings on these barracks that I totally missed. Well, that sucks. Okay, and then the base of the barracks, and God, please don't let me touch the monitor with a wet paintbrush. So a lot of this trim work I was really pressed to do good, I think, on. Okay. I think we are good there. So let's put him back here, out of the way. Let's take a look at, I want to go back and do the blackening of the eyes on the skeleton skulls. So that needs to be done yet on there, as well as some others. But let's go through. I'm going to set this brown brush aside for a moment. Let's go ahead and get some of that black paint while it's still good and wet and not dried out. Right? Black them eyes. Let's get him over here where I have a little bit more finer control. Well, I say that and then I slop paint everywhere. I will tell you that if you play with minis for D&D or any RPG game, a 3D printer is by far your best investment. Because you're going to have a field day with it. And produce and produce and produce and produce. Okay, let's push that back around and let that sit. Who over here has eyes that need to be dotted? I have some scatter terrain with some skulls and some sharpened spikes. Now I will have to fix that a little bit later, as you can tell. But for now, it's got a good touch to it. skull that looks kind of like a demon skull. That just has the eye sockets because it has horns where its nasal passages would be. Okay. Anything else over here with eyes on it? Not that I see. Okay. We've got excuse me, y'all. My attempted eyes on a cow. Hey, girl. What are you doing? Those don't look right. A little overpaint later will fix that. There we go. Dotting them eyes. Okay. Where did I see that needed some brown of this color? The buildings need to be touched up. So let's get in here. Let's get some of this brown. Okay. One area I didn't touch is the underside of the roof, and that's going to have to be done now by the looks of it. But I did that in a golden brown for the trim, so I'm not 100% sure about how I want to do that yet. Okay, I've got some errors around the legs here, where I've got a lot of white showing. Okay, that will clean that up nicely. And then I've just got to make a determination what I want to do about the under roof, if I want to let it go or if I want to try to detail it. All the way out. Okay, y'all. I'd say that's looking pretty good. Just a couple of little spots here and there that need a little bit of TLC. And I think we will call that one detailed out. Let's take a look at the other one, the blue, and see what we need to fix on it. We got got some overpaint around the banners that needs to be touched. But nothing's extremely significant. Okay, I've got some on the inside there that is got an excess of white paint showing, or white primer showing through. We'll tweak that up. Okay. I feel comfortable with this one's condition. All right. We got a lot of ivory that needs to be touched on. So I'm going to come back with some ivory paint and touch all the bone looking materials that need to be touched to detail those out. And that'll get us close to being finished with the detail of on the bulk of this, other than maybe some corrections here and there for in the future. Nothing earth-shatteringly significant. So let me get the ivory out, and I'm going to use a very fine point, narrow, small brush for this, because I'm going to have to get into some small areas to detail, and I don't want to use a big brush and have a lot of overpaint, and then I just have to come back later and address the overpaint with a different color. So let's not go there tonight. Some of these brushes, because of their wear, okay, this might be too fine or too small of a brush. That one looks like it's separating, so this one's a little bit bigger. Let's start with it, and let's go through with everyone that has some ivory that needs to be touched on. That totem is good. This one's got some white showing through on the skull right there. We want to touch that. And then we got some overpaint on the back side, as well as some bare spots. Let's take a look at the next one. It looks pretty good. We do have some brown touch-up we need to do on there, in bits and bobs. And then we have some overpaint on here that needs to be adjusted out, as well as some touching up of the tips. Okay. First red is good. Second red. Got some overpaint around the lower horns that we need to adjust. And then he has a nice bald spot on his scalp that needs to be fixed. Okay, second red looks good. Third red, we got some paint missing off the chin of this one. As well as some overpaint of the red. There we go. That will fix him up. Alright, that will tweak the red. We do have some color there on this cow skull to adjust. Let's take a look at the other one. Kind of has the same issue right there. Okay, and I just kind of overpainted a little bit of brown, so we will have to tweak that later. Again, I got some superficial skull paint here. That we need to tweak out. Overpaint on the bottom of the cow skull. That's easy enough to correct. As well as both sides. Okay, I think those skulls are fine. Let's move to the second purple banner. Take a look at the back of them, spin them around here. Looks like we got a little bit of overpaint. Other than that, I think that one is good. And the third one, I see some damage on the top of both skulls. As well as some excess on the chin that we will lightly touch on. Okay, and then we got some overpaint on both horns on the top. As well as the midsection. Let's get that touched up. So I want to print a couple of wargs or dire wolves for mounts and put in the beast cage. Now I have a couple of dire wolves already that I bought that were basically pre-painted minis. I got those off of eBay for a good price. I've got 4 of those, but I'm keeping those intact. And then I bought 3 more for a special project that we'll discuss at the end of this evening. So if I'm going to do wargs for goblin mounts, I'll have to do something different or additional above and beyond those. So that will get looked at this evening. Okay, let's take a look at the bone work on the towers and see if there's any adjustments that need to be made. A little bit on the upper, a little bit on the mid. Looks like I might have got a little excessive with the brown paint here. The rest of this tower looks good. Okay, let's push it back and take a look at the second one. The tops look good. The mids might need a little bit of touch up, but not much. Okay, I do have on the third set down a little blob of dark paint right there that needs to be touched. The rest I think look good there. All right, let's take a look at barracks. I feel okay with the bone there. We do need to come back and do the silver rings there. There are some spots showing on these that need some touch up. Nothing too significant. Okay, I feel pretty good about those. Let's flip it around and observe the other side. Yeah, there are some spots that need to be tweaked here. Nothing earth-shattering. And I think that will be good. Okay, let's move the barracks back to the back of the table. Let's take the top piece of the shaman hut and take a look at the bone spurs on it. Couple little minor touches here and there. Nothing earth-shatteringly significant. I'm going to set this piece aside. Actually, not without touching something. So we have these center columns for his chimney. And these are logs. Okay. There. I'm just going to touch those like that for now, and I think I just painted my microphone. Actually, I think I dodged painting my microphone, luckily enough. Okay, bone spurs on this structure. We got some touch up on the front leading edge to do. And then the crevices. Okay, y'all, this is down into tight quarters to touch this up. And there's also some Gorilla Glue exposed there that needs a coat of paint on it, where I knocked it off the table in the back and then had to glue a spine back on. Okay, looking at the spines on this one, I've actually revisited this one a couple times already. They look good, so I think we're going to suffice to call that one to be left alone. Alright, let's look at the beast cages. Which I think are in pretty good shape. Okay. We will have to trim up some of that silver, that dark silver. Let's take a look at the tusks on the remaining beast cage. It looks good. Okay. Alright, I feel comfortable with the beast cages. Let's go through the goblin huts and see if any of the ivory on it needs to be touched. That one is good. Got a comfort level with it. And again, I've touched a lot of these up previously. Okay. I feel good about this one. Just a little bit of white there showing that needs to be addressed. Alright, let's go through the remainder. Okay, we got a little touch up on this one to do. Okay, that looks good. A little bit of touch up here to do. This one looks good. Moving back a row. Some overpaint of my hide color and my black. Nothing too extreme. Got some overpaint on my brown over this ivory that I might have to come back and visit on this one. I got some serious mess on this one. Let's fix this. I must have been tired when I was slapping paint on this one, because it literally looks like I was just slapping paint on this one. Okay. This was a Gesso Prime. Don't care for it. Alright, back to on this side. Not too bad. A little bit of hide color on the bases here. Okay, that looks good. Let's get the last one back here. And then I gotta take a look at the scatter terrain and see if any of it needs to be adjusted. I know there's at least one that I have some unpainted bones on. So we will need to tweak that. Alright, that one's good. Let's grab some scatter terrain and take a look at it real quick. This one looks pretty good, although probably could touch up right here. Okay, other than that, pretty confident in that one. The bigger pieces I feel like I did a pretty good job with, so. Hey girl. Oh, her here's the animals on the stream, don't you? Huh? Okay, there's some little bone structure sticking out on this one. That did not get painted. So we're going to address that right now. This one is good, just needs a little bit of touch up on the back side. And this one is completely good. I'll just dot that eye a little bit more, which I can come back and put black in there. Alright, I have a campfire that has some bones sticking up next to it that have not been painted at all. Okay. And then there's a little piece of bone over here on the side. I don't see any more bones sticking out of the fire pit one. Okay. Alright. I do have 3 gallows back here that I need to take a look at. I think these are good, but we're going to look at them just to be sure. I think these are good to go, except for maybe a little bit of cleanup around the base. So let's touch that briefly. Just to get it cleaned up. And then I have these 3, which came off of the other buildings as they were very fragile. A little bit of green around the base is okay because it looks like grass growth. Too much green is a problem. Because then it just looks like I was slapping paint everywhere. So there's a fine balance there. There's an artistic balance that I'm striving for with my 6-year-old painting skills. Let's get the third one touched up, and then we will touch up those pieces that were okay. That will be the 3 gallows mounts. And then let's do these pieces, and then we will let them sit here to dry. Actually, we're going to move some stuff around because I want to switch over to the other painting, which is the elementals tonight. And then I still have a surprise for y'all. So we got to get some of this stuff out of the way here in a little bit. Alrighty. Moving some stuff around. What are we going to move off this table first? Who do we think is driest? Probably the wall pieces that I did earliest. But you know, the minute I pick them up to look at them, to move them, I'm going to see something else I need to tweak. And then off we go on another tangent. Okay. We're going to let those dry. Let me dump this brush into the cleaner. Move that to the side. Alright, let's take a look at these wall pieces. I got some brown that needs to be fixed. But I think we can fix those on the next detail pass. So what I'm going to do for now is move these aside for a round 3 cleanup. Now these little gate pieces are good to go. They're going in the done box. Set those there. Now, as discussed, I got some surprises for y'all tonight that'll come up last, but let's get geared up to do some elementals. I have 2 different style of elementals that I have printed, 3D printed. Hey girly. These little mini cages are about ready to assemble. I'm going to move these totems back. Get them kind of out of the way. Actually, I'm going to move them to the side so that I can kind of paint in the middle so y'all can see better what I'm doing. Let's move these to the side. All right, let's grab a wipe so that I can get paint off my hands for starters. Hey girl, what you doing? You gonna talk to me? Not gonna talk tonight? Not gonna talk to the audience? Huh, mamas? Okay. So, I printed 2 each of these that I'm about to show you. This is an earth elemental. So he will be grays and browns. This fiery devil is going to be a fire elemental. Again, I've printed 2 of each of these, but I wanted to just bring one over to show y'all tonight. This spiky devil that looks like he's coming up out of the waves is a water elemental. And this swirling devil is an air elemental. So I'm going to paint these this evening. I think since we already have some browns available, we're going to start with the, well, I don't want to use that dark brown that I've been using for the wood. Let's use a golden brown, a dark golden brown, and a grayish color. Let's see, we have a lead color we've used. We have dark silver, Payne's gray, which is kind of a blue. Okay, we have silver dragon. Okay, so I'm going to grab the lead, the dark brown, and then underdark gray. And we're going to use these 3 colors as the primaries for our earth elemental. So I'm going to start with the underdark gray. And the lead, and put them side by side in the pan, because I want to see which is darker, which is lighter. Pardon me while I fish out a paper clip to poke a hole in this paint tube. Now, we may not, oh, there we go. I was going to say, we may not be using underdark gray. There's the underdark gray. And here is the lead. Let's get a thicker brush. And let's go on the big limbs. The forearms, the massive forearms on this creature. We're going to go with underdark gray. Actually, it looks like he's hitting a rock, so we're going to let that rock be underdark gray. And then we will paint his arm a different color. Okay. We will go with the lead color for him. And maybe a dungeon gray. So let's get the lead out. Oh, that was punny. I wasn't even trying. I'm going to do probably the palms of his hands and his fingers in an accent color. I think that's going to happen with a lot of his design, is he's going to be this base color, and then we're going to come back and we're going to accent color certain things. Because I think that would give us a good contrast. So we're going to put him there and let him dry. I'm going to get as much of that foot as possible. We will present a small Achilles heel of unpainted flesh, or stone in this case. Let's go ahead and get the other one and base coat him as well. Minus the stone, which we will do in the underdark gray. Okay, so that'll get our two earth creatures, our earth elementals, their base color. Let's set those aside. We're going to get that stone here in a second with this gray. I think I'm going to hang on to this silver brush because we're probably going to touch on don't spill it. The air elemental with some highlights of that color. Okay. Let's get some paint off of me, huh? It is 9 o'clock. We may not make it to the surprise tonight. Let's do the base of our fire. Let's go to the air elemental next because we're going to use white as the base and we're going to add the grays in for the swirling. So I think we're going to use this, the gray and the white together to kind of come up with a swirling pattern for our air elementals. I think that looks good. I think if I come back at it with a different color to help accent it, maybe, and I might leave it as it is. I mean, that's kind of a tough call to alter that. Let's grab the other air elemental and do the same. Starting from the top of the head down. Okay, I'm going to do something similar with the water elemental. We're going to use a blue color. We have a merfolk blue, we have a kraken blue. We're going to break out the kraken blue and do the same stunt with the water elemental. With the fire elemental, we're going to use yellow as the base. So I'm going to paint him yellow tonight. And then we will add accents of orange and red to make his flames on the next pass that we detail him. So let me get the kraken blue out here. It looks like it might need to be stirred a little bit, even though I shook it. Let's see. We have a fire elemental. We have one water elemental. Let's grab the second one. No, when I picture a water elemental, I picture frothing waves. So I'm going to see a lot of white here too, but we're going to have a lot of this blue. And we'll come back and we'll use a darker blue to highlight on the next pass. Okay, so I think that looks really cool for a water elemental because it captures the froth of the wave with that white. But there's enough blue there that you know you're dealing with water. Let's do the second one under the same auspices. So I'm going to start at the base of this one. And then go up the spine. Get the back of the arms. And then we're going to go hot and heavy on the hands and the face because I want them to really show. So they're going to be really painted heavy. Okay, I think that looks good for my water elementals. All right, let me dip this brush in. Let's tackle the fire elementals tonight and get them rocking and rolling with their base yellow. And then we're going to try to squeeze in at least one of my surprises tonight. So let me shift some folks around here. Let's move the earth elementals to the back. Move the air elementals over. Let's get the fire elementals in front of me. Okay, let's close this up. And I need some badass yellow. I also need to get some of this other paint off my fingers so I'm not transferring colors I don't mean to as I'm touching stuff. Hey, Sam. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let me grab my keyboard. I'm not all painted up. If I can spell. So if you haven't checked out Classic Sam, NYGM, she is an awesome professional dungeon master out of New York. And found out she's going to be going to PAX Unplugged in Philly in December. And my fiance and I are also making that trip. So maybe we get to hang out and go to dinner and trade war stories. I'm a noob at this, so okay. Give me just a second. I got to pop up here and grab the yellow off the upper shelf because, you know, dummy me left a good chunk of paint up there. Okay. So, we have our air elemental base coat, our water elemental base coat. I like the white showing through. It's like a wave type effect, foamy waves. And then I have my solid rock earth elementals. We're going to have to come in and do some accent colors and additional detail, but I wanted to get the base coats down tonight. Oh wow, this is messy. Baby wipes are your paintings your best friend when you're painting? Okay. Little bright sunshiny yellow here. Let's see, I need a good thick brush to get in nooks and crannies on these fire elementals. This thing just looks like the devil, y'all. And I guess if I get closer to the camera, you'll get more detail out of it. So we're going to slap some base yellow on here tonight. And then we will later on detail these with orange and red to bring out the colors of the flames. Alright, so that ought to help bring out a little bit of detail. Get really close. So these STLs, these were not freebies. This was a set off of my mini factory from one of the creators. It was like $12 for the set. And after getting the classic monsters from WizKids, which the D through F set had mostly elementals in it. And I realized they're using the 70s style design for those minis. But they were just so sad looking, I hate to say, that I decided I wanted some nicer looking elementals. And it was funny because a group that I play in as a player, I'm not the DM, although I'll probably get my turn here in a month or so. The DM regularly taps on me and asks me if I have elementals or this or that. And you know, I have to separate player knowledge from character knowledge because, yeah, as a player, I know he's getting ready to throw some elementals at us. But as a character, my character does not know that. So a little bit of separation going on there to make that work. And it's worked well so far for him and I don't mind sharing my minis. You know, it's one of the things I enjoy doing is making minis. I'm going to be that crazy person that tries to print the entire monster manual in 3D and paint the entire damn thing. We're just going to have a little bestiary going here. It's getting to the point where I need storage. Sam, you are doing some serious lurking tonight. So, if you have not checked out Sam's stream, I highly recommend it. She does guest spots. She does all kinds of stuff. I actually caught an episode where she had interviewed Sensei Suplex, which I'm also a Sensei Suplex fan, Project Aurora. And that was a real good episode that you put on, Sam. And enjoyed seeing that as well. So, all right. So, we've got a monstrosity of yellow fire elemental. We're going to get some extra brush in there on him. Nice! Who are you interviewing? Are you allowed to tell? Who are you interviewing tomorrow, Sam? And if you're not allowed to tell, or if you don't want to tell till then. So I know you're going to PAX Unplugged. Are you going to TwitchCon later this month? Like in 2 weeks? I'm being nosy now. Yeah, we're going, and I know my buddy Drexus, who stopped into chat earlier, he and one of his friends are going to TwitchCon, and I've never been, and being a new streamer and trying to make 2024 my year to travel more and use some of my vacation time. So we're heading to San Diego. We're actually flying out on the 16th, even though the con doesn't start till, what, Friday the 20th. We're going to fly out and spend a few days just exploring San Diego, because neither one of us have been before. And then we're going to do the con, and then we're going to fly back the following Monday. So it's going to be a nice little vacation for the two of us. I'm sure we will get into some serious trouble while we're in San Diego. Oh, awesome. A filmmaker. Cool. All right. So I'll have to keep an eye out for your go live tomorrow so I can check that out. The only unfortunate thing is not going to TwitchCon, PAX Oz, NYCC, and PAX U, then massive break. Oh, hey, you know, you're still making some rounds. PAX Australia, that is cool. I would love to go to Australia, but I have this theory that everything in Australia is designed to kill humans. So I will keep my happy ass at home. It's bad enough here in East Texas. Okay, so 7 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Y'all check out Sam when she's streaming. And check out that interview. That'll be fun. I should actually be home from Houston by that time. I'm working downtown tomorrow, which I dread. But it's only 3 days a week, and it's usually not on Fridays. But we have a couple of other engineers on vacation, and so I have to provide office coverage. It is what it is. Hey, you know, they're covering for me while I'm in San Diego, so I will gladly take the L and go to Houston on a Friday for them, because they're going to cover for me when I'm gone. But yeah, check out Sam tomorrow night, 7 Central. And, oh, no, sorry, 7 Eastern. I'm Central. Jeez. You'd think I know what time zone I live in. And, you know, I guarantee you'll have a good time. All right, y'all. So I'm going to wrap up the base on these minis and leave them alone. And they will get detailed out on the next stream. I do want to throw this brush in here, clean my hands. It's getting late, and so I'm going to have to crash out here to get up at 4 a.m. to go to Houston tomorrow. But I did promise y'all a surprise tonight. And, of course, it's not Husky house around here without the Huskies, who, remarkably, there is nobody sleeping behind me on the floor right now, y'all. So, but because of my love of the breed, I've got a set of dire wolves that I have primed. I've got 3, but I've only primed 2 so far, because the third one's base is giving me the blues. So I have these. These were originally designed for Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage, I believe, by WizKids. I've taken it off its pedestal and primed it, and we are going to paint these bad boys in the coloration scheme of my 3 Huskies. So for those of you who have never seen any of my Huskies, let me see if I can grab a photo real quick. This computer is not my regular, so it may not have what I'm looking for on here. Here you go. we will screen share this out real quick. Let me mod and add a real quick source here. General sources, window capture. We're going to add a new source. Why is it not? And of course it wants to be stupid. It doesn't want to capture the actual window. There you go. So let me transition this over. The two Piney Woods Pack boys. The big black woolly agouti is Samuel, who is 10 years old. And the little red-headed copper is Rocky, who just turned 8. So Sam turned 10 in May, Rocky turned 8 in June, and then I have my girl, Carmen, but these are going to be the first two. So my goal is to take this miniature and paint it in their color schemes. So y'all going to have to deal with me going nuts tonight. Trying to get this right. So, alright, so we're going to start with a little bit of black, and I'm going to use a very soft brush, and we're going to do the top of Sam's head, the bridge of his nose, and this black might be too dark, but we're going to try it. Now Sam has black all around his head, and his upper coat is black. And if you look, you will see up until his mid-leg is black. But agouti color patterns in Huskies, are rare. And they are not just black and white with predominant black. A normal Husky color is predominantly white with either a gray or a copper, or you have predominantly black with a little bit of white. The agouti pattern is black. It's got some brown in it. It's gray. It's white. And then, of course, you take Sam, and Mr. Personality that he is, and add in the fact that he is just a non-stop talker, trash talker, and he's got the woolly gene, which makes his coat like 3 times the length of a normal Husky coat. He hates being groomed. I either have to groom him or I have to get my daughter to groom him when she's available. Because most groomers are afraid of his big badass. All right, Sam, have a good evening. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping by tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow night. And here comes my girl behind me. What you doing, girl? Samuel. Now Sam is unique in that he has, and my dumb butt has to turn this off to get back here to where you can see me painting. So we're starting out with a black base coat on top of the primer. Now he has a white muzzle and the white on the sides of his muzzle, but black on the bridge of his nose in the front. And then his eye area is black. And so we're going to have to detail that in. Now, he has a big black circle on his stomach. He's got a perfectly white stomach, except for this black circle in the middle of it. So, let me see if I can get his bad butt in here tonight, too. Sammy! Come here, Sam. Of course, the girl thinks her name is Sam. Samuel, are you going to come join us? So that is a close start to Sam. We will have to do the eye color yet. And I'm going to do probably some gray wash around his face. But that is the start of Sam. Alright, now let's move on to Rocky. And let's clean off some of this paint on my damn hands. Alright, I need a copper, which is more, in this case, going to be a reddish brown. Dwarven bronze, which probably needs to be mixed with a little bit of a brown and a red to get Rocky's color. Let's go with a little touch of bronze. Okay. Now, let's add in a little bit of it's right here in front of me. Okay. All right, Rocky. Let's mix you up a little bit here. Now that kind of gives that brown a metallic color, which is good. Rockhound. Okay, there is not enough red in that, so we're going to have to tweak that. What, girl? Sorry, y'all. I had to go chase a dog. He's already in my bedroom, asleep on my side of the bed, waiting for me to get my butt in there. Okay. Okay, y'all. There's Rocky's base color. Now it'll need a little white wash to it later. But there you go. We have Sam and Rocky's base color coat done. Alright. It is 9:40. I've got to be up, y'all, at 4 a.m. And I've still got to clean up after this mess tonight from painting. So I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. Appreciate everybody who stopped by tonight. And hope to see y'all again online soon. And y'all have a great rest of your evening.